Hey, how are you today? This is Robert Nadelin, and today's video is Universal Laws and Things Unseen. I want to talk to you about things unseen first. Okay, things unseen. If you're building a building, one of the main things that you don't see that's very, very important on a building is the foundation. The foundation is what holds the building up, and it makes it so that it doesn't kind of sink, on one side or the other. So a good foundation has to be built for the building. Start out with excavation. You have to put up your batter boards. Those kind of mark the corners of it and the elevation of the foundation of the finished product. See, it all has to do with planning. Planning has to go into the foundation of the building. And after you pour your footings, and then on top of that you pour your slab or more supporting of the foundation. On a big building, you've got a lot to it. Whereas just on a house or something, there's just certain things that you do. You got to plan on putting your girder there and on a certain spot and be able to put your floor joists and all this. All that has to be all planned out. So you need a good foundation. If you're going to build a big building, it's got to be a strong, sturdy foundation. That's one of the things that's unseen. Same thing in a business. You build a good foundation. If you're going to have a tree that's going to produce fruit, you need to have good fruit. So you need what? What do you not see in a tree? You don't see the roots. The root system has to be cultivated. It has to be put in good soil. You have to water it, or it has to be watered, and it has to have sunshine. So in essence, what you've got a good building foundation where you have good roots. And that's where it comes in with the mind. Your mind has to be cultivated and ready for the business at hand. Okay, and that's where the universal laws come in. And there's lots of them. There's lots of universal laws. I'm only going to go through some of them because this video would be too long. It's going to be long anyway, but anyway, the first universal law that we're going to talk about is the law of mentalism. The law of mentalism, it just, everything starts out as an idea. An idea. Write a book. An idea. Making some pottery. You got an idea of what you're going to do. Here's a triangle. Just something even simple. It all starts as an idea. So, that's the law of mentalism. Okay, the law of compensation. We know that Vic's gone over this a few times. There is a need of what you do. There has to be a need. Okay? And there's probably plenty of needs out there. There's a lot of people out there that need something. So there's a need. The next part of the law of compensation is your ability to do it. This is where you have to kind of skill up. And when you skill up, you want to be a master of that. And you don't want to do a whole bunch of things, just 2 or 3. That's all you need. 2 or 3 things. And you do them so that you're a master at them. You're really super good at it. Anything else you can farm out to somebody else. If you need this, or maybe if you're not good at writing, you can farm that out to somebody else fairly inexpensively. All right, and then the next one and the last one of the law of compensation is your difficulty in replacing you. Difficulty in replacing you. Well, if you're a master at those three things, it's going to be pretty hard for somebody to replace you, isn't it? So actually the first two things is the most important. The last one is if you're not doing a good enough job, you'll get replaced, right? All right, now, the next one is the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that everything is moving. Everything is moving. Even if you took the proper microscope and looked at a wall and got it down there, that wall is moving. Even dead people, after they die, they say they move. It's the particles. They're always jiggling. It's physics. And the whole thing, the particles, emotions. Emotions cause vibrations. That's why you need to work on your emotions all the time, because good emotions have a higher vibration. Bad emotions have a lower vibration. Love is the best emotion for the highest vibration. Whereas hate's about the lowest. So, I'm going to use the whiteboard a little bit and kind of explain that a little bit further, because it's worth repeating. This is what we all need to do. Even Einstein talked about it. Match the vibration of the frequency of the reality you want. And you can't help but get that in the reality, in your reality, in the physical part, you know. You match your vibration. Your particles are going to be changing because of your emotion. That's how you turn the knob on the vibrations. All right? It can't be any other way. You see, he goes on to say it's not philosophy, it's physics. That was from Albert Einstein. There's another person, Mr. Emoto. He's done some research on emotions, and he's taken just drops of water, distilled water, and he got them from the same place. And one of them, he took him and he talked to him in a bottle light. And one of them, he played Beethoven's music. And while the music was playing, he froze it. And also, you know, he talked to one. He says, you know, you're just so great. You're wonderful, whatever. You know, you just, you know, you're an awesome drop of water. And while he was talking to it, or as you know, the emotions, he froze the water, froze the drop. And he did another one to another. And I hate you. I want you to die. I hate you. I want you to die. And he froze that water. And one that said, you know, Beethoven's music, it came out all kinds of different types of shapes and beautiful, you know, geometric shapes and stuff, and it was all white and everything. And the same thing happened with the one that he talked to, and he loved it, you know, and he said kind things to it. It had geometrical shapes and whatever, and it was real good. You know, this is what it looked like when it was froze, after it was froze. And the one that he talked real mean to and hated, it turned dark, and it was nasty, and it didn't have much of a shape of anything. It just kind of like looked like a blob. And same thing with the one with the music. Beethoven was beautiful, but the one he played some nasty rock and roll, I mean, it was bad, you know, with bad, you know, vibes and everything in it. It turned out just like the one that he talked hate to. It was all just kind of shapeless and dark. Looked almost polluted. So vibrations have a lot to do with it, and you know your emotions are to have to do with the vibrations. I thought that was very interesting. So I'm training my mind to weed out the bad thoughts. I don't want bad emotions. I want to only cultivate good emotions in my garden. Your garden being your mind, because it's very fertile. A lot can be said about that. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. The Bible talks about on earth as it is in heaven. It's in the Lord's Prayer, right? So, all these are on different planes, and there's 3 different planes. There's the spiritual, the mind, and the body. And all of those things are all there's nothing separating them in the realm. They're all in the same. You all have your body, you have your spirit, and then you also have your mind. All those are all interconnected with each other. So know that whatever you do or whatever you say, it goes through all 3 of those planes of existence. That is the law of correspondence. The law of polarity. Where there's north, there's south. Where there's east, there's west. There's always a law that is going back and forth. There's always the opposite. If it doesn't have an opposite, the law states, then it doesn't exist. Interesting, isn't it? That's the law of polarity. The law of rhythm. Everything goes in a cycle. A cycle meaning, like even in the ocean, it's got waves. Okay? Waves. Business has a cycle. Either it's up or it's down. The rise of a nation. The nations rise and then nations have fallen. Same thing with the economy. The economy goes up, the economy goes down. Everything is in waves and cycles. That's the law of rhythm. The law of cause and effect. Cause is always in the mind first. It's what you think about it, the cause. I'm going to cause this to happen. Things just don't happen on their own. There's a cause to it. Believe me, I know that in trucking. You get a kind of a bad attitude going on in there, and all of a sudden something just happens. To make a good effort, you must master your mind. You must master your mind to keep the good, positive thoughts going on. This law here says there's a cause and effect. The cause and effect. Everything in your mind causes an effect. So I want to talk a little bit more about the law of vibration. You guess what my drawing is right there. It's a little portable radio. It can be an old-timey one or whatever. It's sitting there. And you turn it on, and all these waves are flowing around up here. There's a bunch of them. You turn it on and it receives them. It receives those waves, and here we adjust the frequency so that it just tunes into just one set of waves. And it plays music. It'll play music, it'll give you the news, whatever you want to do. It could even be a story on an old timey one, it'd be a story. Well, the same thing goes for frequencies. And to be able to use the power of attraction and be able to get the things that you want. Let's say you're down here and you're making so much income per month, and you want to get up to here. $10K sounds a good starting point, and that's per month. And you're only making this by the year. To be able to get on top of to go from here here on your frequency. It's like turning the knob, right? To be able to attain that, you have to get on the right frequency, right? You're down here. What kind of a frequency do you think that is? It's about, oh, life is a bitch. Everything doesn't work out for me. If it's not the stupid car won't start, it's this flat tire that I gotta fix now. Or it could be, money problems and thinking about, whatever it is, that's going wrong. It's just your general attitude. And little bad thoughts are always going into your head. And you got to deal with life because, life is just, I got to live it because I just deal with everything that life dishes out and I have no control over it. Right? Well, just like on this radio up here, I'm going to change the frequency. And to be able to change the frequency, you got to move up to the next level, the next level, the next level. This could be 5K. You've got to change your frequency by your attitude. It's not only your attitude, but it's by emotion. So the emotion is the main part of changing the frequency. Love, like I mentioned before, is the strongest of all emotions. Love is absolutely the first thing that you've got to feel good. You've got to get your mind into that mindset. And how you do that is very easily, well, it's not very easily, but first you got to weed your garden. You got to get rid of the bad thoughts. Because you can have good thoughts, but when the bad ones come up, they cancel each other out. Right? You can't have them canceling out, otherwise the effort isn't going to work. To get up here, you got to weed your garden first. The garden is your mind. Get rid of the bad thoughts. And the best way, and I was just listening to something today, the best way to weed your mind of those, when a bad thought comes up, subconsciously, freeze it. Freeze frame what you're thinking about. Okay? Freeze frame it. This is a bad thought. It's bad. First of all, you got to take a big old paintbrush in your mind and circle it. Circle that big bad thought. And then you take that, dip it into another, and it's black. Black is cold. And then you take and you X it out. X out that bad thought. And then you take that bad thought and you give it a fling like a frisbee. Throw it as far as you can out to outer space. Just imagine it leaving. Now that bad thought might come back again. It could be a worry about this. I don't have enough money. Never say that to yourself. Always say, I have a lot of money. Your subconscious mind doesn't know that. Your mind on the top does. Your thinking mind. Just tell yourself, don't think of this. Get rid of that. It's not easy to do, but it takes practice. And slowly but surely, you're going to raise yourself up to that amount right there. It's a mindset. Train your mind. Start today. That's all I got to say today. And my next one will be in a few days. Watch for me. I'll be there. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. And hit like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that too. Thanks.